The man who would not fall, the life and legacy of Saint Denis of Paris. The shock in the ancient world, execution was meant to erase a man forever, no name, no memory, no legacy. But in 3rd century Paris, one execution did the opposite. They beheaded a Christian bishop, and what happened next would echo through history and shape the spiritual identity of an entire city. This is the life, the death, and the enduring legacy of Saint Denis of Paris. The Roman Empire ruled the known world with iron discipline. Order was everything, and Christianity was seen as rebellion. Christians refused to worship Roman gods. They rejected the emperor's divine status. To Rome, this was treason. Around the middle of the 3rd century, a man named Denis was sent from Rome into Gaul, modern-day France. His mission was simple and deadly. Preach Christ, convert the pagans, build the church. Denis arrived in Lutetia, a rough Roman settlement that would one day become Paris. It was a city of soldiers, merchants, and idol temples. He became its first bishop. Denis preaching quietly, secret baptisms, hidden crosses. Denis did not preach in secret for long. He spoke openly about love over power, truth over fear, and Christ over Caesar. People listened. Conversion spread. House churches formed. Pagan idols were abandoned, and Rome noticed. Every new Christian weakened Roman authority. Every sermon was a challenge to imperial control. By the year 250 A.D., Emperor Decius launched a brutal crackdown. Christians were ordered to sacrifice to Roman gods or die. Denis refused. Denis was arrested alongside 2 companions, Rusticus, a priest, and Eleutherius, a deacon. They were imprisoned, beaten, interrogated. Roman officials demanded obedience. Deny Christ. Honor the gods. Live. Denis answered with silence or prayer. For Rome, this defiance could not be tolerated. An example had to be made. Denis and his companions were marched north of the city to a hill used for executions. Today we know it as Montmartre, the Hill of Martyrs. Crowds gathered. Soldiers raised their swords. One by one, Denis's companions were executed. Then Denis himself was forced to kneel. The blade fell, and by all human understanding, that should have been the end. But according to early Christian tradition, it wasn't. Witnesses claimed that after his execution, Denis stood up. He picked up his severed head and began to walk. Blood flowed from his neck, yet his lips moved, continuing to preach, continuing to praise God. The crowd fled in terror. Denis walked for miles until he reached the place he wished to be buried. Only then did he collapse. Whether seen as miracle or sacred legend, this image became unforgettable. Faith had outlived death. Denis was buried where he fell. Over time, a shrine rose above his grave, then a church, then the Basilica of Saint-Denis. It became the burial place of French kings, the spiritual heart of the nation. Saint Denis was declared patron saint of Paris. His name was carried into battle. His image stood in cathedrals. His story shaped France's Christian identity. Rome tried to silence him, but instead it amplified him. Saint Denis represents something timeless. That truth does not depend on survival. That faith does not retreat under threat. That conviction can outlive violence. In an age where belief is often mocked, pressured, or silenced, Denis reminds Christianity of its roots. Not power, but perseverance. Not dominance, but sacrifice.